The quiet struggles of a woman without any support form a deeply touching and complex story. This struggle is often hidden from others and involves incredible inner strength, unwavering bravery, and a great ability to bounce back. It's about dealing with a world that seems not to care about her. A world that gives no comfort when she stumbles and no cheers when she succeeds. This might feel harsh and lonely, but it also gives her the chance to be her strongest supporter. A woman on her own faces the tough task of standing by herself, even under the heavy load of her troubles. She has to weather storms without anyone to hold her hand or tell her that she's not alone. In this loneliness, it's easy to feel desperate, but there's also a chance for incredible personal growth. Lacking support pushes her to find strengths within herself she might never have realized she had. In these dark times, the little light of her enduring spirit starts to shine. Often, society ignores the quiet struggles of those who cope without help. We celebrate loud and visible victories, overlooking the quiet endurance of those who keep going behind the scenes. A woman without support finds herself ignored by the mainstream, yet she shows a kind of bravery that's deep and often unrecognized. Her victories aren't about getting awards or public praise. They come from her ability to get up each day, push forward against the odds, and keep hoping for a better tomorrow, even when today is tough. Without a support network, a woman learns to depend solely on herself. She plans her life and fights for her dreams, which sounds empowering but is really hard. Relying only on herself means carrying a huge burden, often making unseen and unappreciated sacrifices. But with every step she takes alone, she learns the value of her resolve and understands that her value doesn't depend on others' approval or help. There's a special strength in enduring alone. When a woman goes through life unsupported, she has to face her fears and weaknesses head-on. There's no one to shield her from life's harsh blows. This direct confrontation with challenges is scary, but can also change her life. Without a safety net, she learns to fall and get back up, each time a bit wiser and braver. She becomes a symbol of persistence, showing what humans can endure and overcome. The loneliness of her struggle is perhaps the hardest part. Living life without a supportive circle means dealing with a deep sense of isolation. It means wrestling with doubts alone and facing the emptiness of having no one close by. Yet, in this solitude, she finds a chance to really know herself, to grasp her true desires and fears, and to develop an unbreakable inner strength. A woman on her own is often misunderstood. People might see her quiet strength as coldness, her independence as unwillingness to connect. But these are wrong interpretations. Her strength comes from needing to survive in a world that hasn't supported her, and her independence is a proof of her ability to manage despite that. She handles her challenges gracefully, even when they feel too heavy to bear. Her battles aren't visible. They don't happen where everyone can see them, but inside her own heart and mind. They are fights against self-doubt, the fear of failing, and the urge to quit. These fights occur during the quiet night hours when she's alone with her thoughts. They happen when facing challenges that could crush many, but she faces them with growing determination every day. Despite her solitude, this woman carries a quiet power. Her life is a proof that humans can endure, adjust, and triumph. She learns to appreciate small wins, to be proud of the strength she's gained from her challenges, and to find meaning in her journey. She becomes a beacon of hope for others in similar situations, a living example that thriving without support is possible. Every challenge a woman faces alone is made tougher by the expectations of society. In a world that often demands perfection, she has to meet high standards without any encouragement or aid. This adds another layer of difficulty, one that's both draining and confining. She has to survive with dignity, keeping up appearances even when she's struggling inside. The pressure to stay strong, self-sufficient, and keep going no matter what can be crushing. Yet, despite the pressure, she continues moving toward seemingly impossible goals, with no one to recognize her efforts or share her burdens. The lack of support makes her loneliness even more pronounced, reinforcing the feeling that she's truly alone in her fight. When a woman lacks support, her silence isn't just something you see, it mirrors a deep silence within her too. Without people to share her feelings with, she faces a heavy emotional burden all by herself. There's no one to listen or offer kind words to cheer her up when she's down. She has to handle the heavy emotions that come with her struggles alone, without anyone's comforting voice or help. This silence becomes overwhelming, making her internal struggles feel even harder. However, in this quiet, she begins to find a way to heal and change through talking to herself, offering herself the comfort and reassurance she wished others would give. This self-support becomes vital for her mental and emotional health. This journey alone also makes her feel invisible. In a world that quickly notices and praises people with strong support networks, a woman on her own often goes unseen. Her hard work doesn't get the applause it deserves because her achievements aren't as obvious as those with support. But the value of what she accomplishes is even greater because she does it against the odds, without anyone's approval, and in solitude. Her true strength comes from her dedication to herself, her path, and her hope for a better future. Being on her own also risks her neglecting herself. Carrying her life's burdens alone, she might forget to look after her own needs. The demands of getting by, chasing goals, and facing challenges might make her ignore her well-being as she tries to meet others' expectations and pushes herself too hard. Eventually, this can harm her health, leaving her exhausted and worn out. Ironically, trying to be strong and independent could cost her the very energy she needs to keep going. Recognizing the importance of taking care of herself is crucial, but it's a lesson often learned by first reaching burnout. Her struggle without support stretches beyond personal issues into the social sphere. She's always aware of how others might judge her, seeing her as weak or incapable because she's alone. Society often views needing others as a sign of weakness, and a woman without support might be judged as lacking in relationships or trust. But the truth is more complicated. Her situation doesn't reflect her value or character. It's shaped by her life circumstances, her battles, and the hard choices she's had to make to survive. Despite what others think, she stands firm and keeps moving forward, determined not to let others' opinions define her. Her journey also brings intense vulnerability. Without support, she faces life's hardships fully exposed. There's no one to cushion the blow of disappointments, no one to console her when she faces failures or rejection. This constant vulnerability is tough, yet it's also where she learns a lot about herself. She finds her own strength, her capacity to endure, and her resolve to keep going, even when the path is unclear. Paradoxically, vulnerability becomes a strength because it helps her connect with her deeper resilience. The question then arises, why do some women have to face life alone? The reasons vary. Some are born into tough situations with no safety net. Others become isolated through broken relationships or lack of family support. And some just find themselves alone because the world doesn't seem to care. Despite the reasons, it's clear that lacking support isn't a sign of weakness or failure, but a harsh reality many women endure. Yet, it's crucial to see that while the journey is tough, it's also a chance for deep personal growth. A woman without support is not just a survivor. She's not dependent on others for her value or reassurance. She learns to depend on herself, becoming her own supporter, defender, and provider of emotional support. Through this, she realizes her worth doesn't hinge on others' approval, and her achievements stand on their own. She understands that she is enough, capable of facing life's challenges, and that her path, however tough, is valuable just as it is. Every day she goes without support feels like a constant fight to keep hope alive. A woman dealing with life's challenges on her own must work non-stop to cling to the belief that things will get better, that her efforts will one day pay off, and that brighter days are ahead. This hope isn't based on what's happening around her or on other people's actions. It comes from deep within her. It is a silent but steady belief that her resilience will see her through the toughest times, that her ability to grow will help her get past any hurdle, and that her value is intrinsic, no matter how the world may ignore her. The quiet of a woman lacking support tells a powerful tale. It speaks of strength, resilience, and bravery against great odds. It is a story of survival, of learning to stand strong even when no one else is there to support her. This quiet, although sometimes overwhelmingly loud, also resonates with the sounds of a woman's inner strength, a strength that comes not from others, but from her very core. In this quiet, she becomes her own champion, her own rescuer, and her own beacon of hope. As she moves forward, the woman without support discovers that her struggles, tough as they are, shape who she is. They are the fires that forge her character, the challenges that allow her to become who she is meant to be. Even though the world might not see her strength, she understands the true nature of her journey. She knows that her quiet fight is deeply meaningful, a battle that ultimately reveals her own power and purpose. In doing so, the woman without support becomes more than just a survivor. She becomes a light for others. Her solo journey connects with many others, offering hope to those facing similar challenges, proving that one can flourish even without support. Through her resilience, she stands as a living proof of our ability to endure, to rise, and to conquer. And although she walks alone, she does so knowing that her strength is sufficient to carry her through. As the woman without support continues her life journey, she becomes increasingly conscious of how persistence shapes her fate. Persistence isn't just about getting through each day. It's about choosing to keep going when the future looks bleak, when failure seems just around the corner, and when weariness almost overwhelms her will to go on. It's the quiet resolve to get back up after every fall, to persist against the odds. She might not always feel strong, but her willingness to keep moving forward, to push through the burdens of her situation, is a testament to her true strength. Continuing despite hardship is like standing strong against those who try to bring her down, proclaiming she won't be defeated by lack of support, and that her journey is important no matter the challenges she encounters. A woman on her own often battles with thoughts that appear during solitary times. Doubts and fears might overwhelm her when she feels alone. Without others' encouragement and positive feedback, she's left to face these harsh thoughts, which might make her question her own value and lower her confidence. Nobody is there to affirm her efforts or to comfort her when things get tough. In these times, It's crucial she learns to support herself, to quiet the negative thoughts, and to encourage herself. By doing this, she takes back control, dismissing the idea that she's not enough, and instead accepting that her efforts, no matter how modest, deserve recognition and respect. While lacking support pushes a woman to face her own doubts and vulnerabilities, it also gives her a chance to redefine what strength means. Typically, strength is seen as something shown outwardly, like physical might, loud victories, or public acknowledgement. But for a woman alone, strength becomes something internal and personal. It's the strength to face each day bravely, to maintain hope in tough times, and to keep moving forward even when it feels like the world doesn't notice her struggles. Her strength isn't about avoiding difficulties, but in her ability to persist and rise above the challenges she encounters. The more she withstands, the stronger she becomes, and this strength forms the base for her future. The path of a woman without support also makes her realize she must take charge of her own growth. With no one else to guide her, she can't be told what to do next or how to handle complex situations in life. She must depend on her intuition, her judgment, and her past experiences to make her way through the world. While daunting at first, this independence gradually leads to a profound ownership over her life and decisions. She learns to trust herself, to heed her inner voice, and to choose based on her values and ambitions. Although initially seeming like a burden, this lack of support becomes a trigger for personal growth as she discovers she can forge her own path, even without others to lead the way. One tough aspect of this silent struggle is the ongoing feeling of being inadequate. This isn't a reflection of her actual capabilities, but comes from a deep-seated belief that without others' approval, she's less valuable. Society often values social connections, and without them, she might feel like an outsider, as if she's worth less because she lacks a support network. But this notion is false. Her value doesn't depend on how many people are by her side, but on her personal integrity, her determination, and her ability to keep moving forward against the odds. She may not have a crowd cheering her on, but she possesses something much more significant, a steadfast belief in her own worth and her ability to prosper. The unsupported journey often brings deep self-reflection. Without the hustle of a social life or others' opinions crowding her thoughts, a woman alone can deeply consider her own beliefs, values, and aspirations. She has to face herself in ways that others, surrounded by support, might not. This self-examination can be tough and even painful, as she has to look at her fears, flaws, and past choices. Yet it's also a vital chance for growth, as she clarifies who she is and what she really wants. She becomes more rooted in her identity and aligned with her life's goals. Although challenging, this introspection sets the stage for a more genuine and satisfying life. Though her journey without support may seem impossibly long, with each day appearing endless, she learns over time that the journey's length doesn't define her. It's how she travels this path with elegance and intention that matters. Each step she takes and every obstacle she overcomes enriches her story, making it deeper and more meaningful. The lack of support may have led her to a solitary path, but it also allows her to create her own story, to define herself by her own standards. With every small triumph, she regains a bit of her strength and crafts a future that is truly hers. During quiet times of thinking deeply, a woman on her own realizes her fight is not just about what's happening around her, but about changing herself inside. Lacking support hasn't made her weak. It has turned her into someone tougher, more able to rely on herself, and ready to tackle any difficulty life might present. She starts to trust in her own skills, to have faith in her power to overcome obstacles, and to understand that she is completely sufficient as she is. While others may not see her struggles, she understands that her path is deeply valuable, shaping her into a woman who is strong, independent, and steadfast in her resolve to keep going. The quiet struggle of a woman on her own is not a sign of defeat. It's a sign of victory. This victory is born from enduring, being resilient, and finding out who she really is. It's a victory that shows, again and again, that even without others around, a woman can remain firm and find her way. The road might be hard, the trip might be long, but the strength she develops shows the incredible power of the human spirit. And as she continues on her path, she does so knowing she can conquer anything, that she is more than enough, and her story is one of deep strength and beauty. In the quiet times of her struggle, when it seems like the rest of the world has turned away, the woman on her own feels the full weight of her challenge. It's during these moments that her inner battles become fiercest, as she faces not only life's hurdles, but also the tough judgments she places on herself. Without anyone to assure her that she's doing fine, she often feels pushed to be flawless, to handle everything smoothly, to prove to the world that she can manage all by herself. But perfection is a myth, and without support it's too easy to fall for the false belief that she's not measuring up. However, it's exactly in these challenging moments that she realizes a crucial truth. She doesn't need to be perfect to be valuable. Her worth doesn't come from meeting unreachable standards, but from her determination to keep going each day, to face her flaws, and to keep advancing, even when the way forward isn't clear. Not having support also complicates her view on success. In a world where success is often judged by others' praise, by acknowledgement of achievements, or by community approval, a woman on her own might doubt what true success really means. Her accomplishments might seem less significant to others, not as noteworthy without a group cheering her on. But what isn't visible to the world are the quiet victories she wins every day, the small but significant moments when she confronts a challenge and keeps going against tough odds. Her success isn't shown through big actions or public praise, but by the small, steady steps she takes to keep her self-esteem, to care for her spirit, and to continue moving ahead. In the silence of her struggle, she becomes the true measure of her own success. It's easy to confuse being alone with being weak, particularly in a society that values being together and connected. But the woman on her own knows that being alone doesn't mean she's weak. It can actually be a great source of strength. Being alone gives her space for deep thought, for healing, and for discovering herself. It offers a chance to connect with her true self, to find out who she is beyond outside influences. In this quiet, she learns to trust her instincts, to listen to what she truly needs, and to respect her feelings. The solitude she once feared turns into a place of refuge, a place to rejuvenate, reflect on her path, and gather the strength needed for what lies ahead. By learning to enjoy her own company, she finds a deep peace and self-sufficiency. A woman who lacks support quietly learns how to empower herself. Normally, empowerment is thought to come from others, like mentors, friends, family, or from getting approval. But when there's no one else to support her, she must find strength from within. She discovers she can change her own life, shape her future, and face her challenges by herself. She learns she doesn't need anyone's permission to live fully. She starts to make her own opportunities, takes risks, and follows her dreams without needing others to agree with her choices. This self-gained strength becomes essential as she takes control of her life and realizes she can change her own world through her actions and beliefs. Throughout her journey, she might face times of doubt, feeling overwhelmed by her troubles and wondering if it's worth continuing. These moments make her question if her efforts and sacrifices are worthwhile. Yet it's during these tough times she discovers how resilient she is. Doubt doesn't completely go away, but she gets better at dealing with it gracefully and wisely. Her ability to keep going, even when times are hard, shows her strength. She realizes that doubts don't stop her from succeeding. Overcoming these doubts makes her stronger. Doubt isn't a barrier, but a part of her journey, reminding her that her perseverance is what's truly important, not the absence of fear or uncertainty. A woman on her own also learns a lot about relationships. Without a solid support network, she might feel lonely and disconnected. She might long for belonging and the comfort of those who understand and support her. But this desire doesn't make her dependent. Instead, it pushes her to grow. She learns to form meaningful relationships with people who truly appreciate and support her genuinely and unconditionally. Though she may have fewer friends, those relationships become deeper and more authentic. Without much support, she understands who really deserves her time and effort, and she builds relationships based on mutual respect and growth. Another important lesson from facing life without support is the need for self-compassion. Without others to cheer her on, it's easy to be overly critical of herself, to feel like she's not doing enough or failing because she's alone. However, she learns to be kind and encouraging to herself. She becomes her own source of compassion, forgiving her own mistakes, accepting her limits, and celebrating her small victories. This self-compassion is vital, as it helps maintain her mental and emotional well-being amidst life's challenges. She understands she's not perfect, and that's fine. What matters is her effort to keep going, to progress, and to treat herself with the kindness she would offer to a friend. Through all these challenges, the woman learns that her journey is not just about surviving. It's about discovering herself, growing, and transforming. Every challenge she faces, every doubt she overcomes, and every step she takes alone shapes who she is. She learns her value doesn't come from others' approval or presence, but from the strength she builds within. She becomes a living proof of human spirit's power, showing the potential for resilience and growth that we all have. She realizes that she's not just surviving the journey, she's thriving, becoming stronger, wiser, and more confident than she ever imagined. Continuing from where we left off, the woman without support has discovered that her journey, though often lonely and demanding, is also a pathway to unparalleled self-discovery and empowerment. Each day she faces, she finds herself growing stronger, more confident, and more capable of handling whatever life throws her way. This growth isn't marked by grand achievements or public accolades, but by the quiet, personal victories that she earns every time she conquers a challenge or overcomes a fear. As she moves forward, the lessons she learns are profound and transformative. She realizes that her resilience is not just about surviving tough times, but about thriving in spite of them. This resilience becomes her shield, her source of strength that she draws from whenever doubts or hardships arise. She learns that she does not need to lean on others to find courage. Instead, she finds it within herself, in the depths of her own spirit. This inner courage guides her through dark times and leads her towards light and hope. The woman without support also learns about the power of patience. Patience is not merely waiting, it's maintaining a positive spirit during the waiting. It's understanding that some things in life take time and that her current struggles will eventually lead to better days. Patience teaches her to hold on, to persist, and to find joy in the journey, not just the destination. Moreover, her solitude teaches her about the true essence of independence. Independence for her isn't just about doing things by herself, but embracing the freedom to make her own choices and to live life on her own terms. This freedom is liberating, but also comes with the responsibility of making decisions that are not only good for her, but also align with her values and dreams. Through her silent battles, she also cultivates gratitude. Gratitude in her context isn't about big gestures of thankfulness, but about finding something to appreciate every day, even in small ways. It could be the beauty of a sunrise, the quiet moments of the morning, or the lessons learned from the day's challenges. This gratitude enriches her life, making her more aware of the beauty and value of each moment, regardless of the difficulties that come with it. Each of these qualities, resilience, patience, independence, and gratitude, interweave to form a tapestry of her life, making her not only a survivor, but a conqueror. She learns to appreciate not only the strength she has built, but also the person she has become. A woman of depth, dignity, and determination. In the quiet moments of her journey, she realizes that her solitude has been both a challenge and a companion. It has been a teacher who, though stern, has guided her towards self-realization and personal strength. She recognizes that her life, her battles, and her victories are her own, unique and valuable, and that her story is one of triumph, a testament to the enduring spirit of a woman who walks the path alone, but strong. As she continues forward, she carries with her the lessons of the past, ready to face the future with a heart full of hope and a spirit unbroken. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, then leave a like on this video and subscribe for more insightful content like this. Click on one of the videos on screen to watch more. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.